a 90-year-old veteran, publicly humiliated in the middle of a crowded street. A royal guard breaking a 300-year-old protocol because he couldn't stand still in the face of injustice. No one believed it really happened. But it did. And the cameras of dozens of bystanders captured it the moment that shook the entire United Kingdom. This isn't just another viral video. It's one of those veteran stories you were never taught in school. And through the journey of justice for veterans, we bring you moments like this where silence is broken and courage finds its voice. Don't blink, because a single step changed a generation. Ethan Ward, 28 years old, tall, slender, introverted, and obsessively principled. He's a royal guard standing motionless for hours, eyes unblinking, amidst the chaos of hundreds of tourists. To others, it's ceremonial work. But to Ethan, it's a vow. He grew up on war stories told by his grandfather, Walter Ward, a veteran of the Normandy invasion. A black and white photo still hangs in his room, his grandfather in uniform, clutching his draft letter. Ethan once said, "If Grandpa could hold a trench, then I can hold my ground against the world." He believed in discipline, in order. But what happens when order clashes with injustice? That morning, London disappeared into fog. The sky was overcast, the first light of day smothered by a thick silver mist. The only sounds footsteps of tourists and the distant chime of Big Ben. Ethan stood guard, his eyes fixed, but beneath the stillness, he was alert. A figure approached, an old man, his suit worn but tidy, his chest decorated with metal gleaming through the pale mist. His hand trembled on a cane, each step dragging with it fragments of the past. It was Walter Briggs, 90 years old, a man who had survived 3 wars and was about to face another right in the middle of peacetime. Walter paused at the gates of the palace, eyes locked on the line of guards like revisiting a sacred rite. Suddenly, laughter pierced the fog. 3 young men approached. Travis at the front cast a mocking gaze at Walter. "Hey, old man, are those medals even real? You look like you're in cosplay." Derek whistled. Jaden chuckled. Walter stood tall, eyes unblinking. "They're not for show. They're memories, and the price paid." Travis shrugged and stepped closer. He touched a silver medal, pressing it hard, testing if the old man could still feel. The gesture was quiet but loud enough to silence the crowd. Travis didn't stop. He looked Walter in the eye and ripped off the largest medal. The sound of metal striking stone echoed like a slap across history. Walter staggered. His cane dropped. He fell to his knees. No one stepped forward. Only phones, held high, recording. Ethan less than 10 meters away, his gaze flickered. He was trained not to react, to stand like stone. But as he saw the old man on his knees, hands stripped of honor, he knew. If I stand still now, what exactly am I protecting? And he took a step. Just one. But it was a step that defied the entire system. Walter knelt at the roadside. The medal lay beside his fallen cane, a symbol of honor discarded like worthless scrap. Travis stepped back, grinning triumphantly. The crowd still watched some filming, none intervening. Except for one, Ethan. His eyes once hollow like wax now flared with restrained fury. He knew he wasn't allowed to move. Every step outside his line was a breach of protocol. But then, Ethan stepped forward. Gasps rippled, a royal guard breaking centuries of silence. Travis froze. A guard? Walking toward him? Well, look who moves. The scarecrow walks. He scoffed, but Ethan said nothing. No expression. He bent down, picked up the medal, brushed the dust off, and stared straight into Travis's eyes. Then in one swift, precise motion, he locked Travis's shoulder, spun him down, forced him to his knees. Derek and Jaden stumbled back in panic. Tourists screamed. Cameras shook. Ethan returned the medal to Walter using both hands, like an oath. And then something no one expected. The crowd applauded. That applause, echoing through the misty twilight, ignited a wave that couldn't be stopped. Within hours, a tourist's video was everywhere online. A royal guard, abandoning his post to subdue a harasser and return a medal to a frail veteran. Hashtags flared like wildfire. Silent protector, guard gone hero, respect the elders. The media ran stories. Debates exploded. National news aired the clip that evening. Many praised Ethan as a modern-day hero, but criticism followed. Guards can't act on impulse. If protocol breaks, what's left of royal dignity? As social media boiled over, Ethan was summoned urgently back to barracks, and no one knew what awaited him next. The next morning, Ethan received an emergency summons from the commanding officer. No explanation, no message, just one cold line. Report to command room, 7-0. The barracks were unnervingly quiet. Heavy footsteps echoed through the stone hallways. No smiles, no chatter, just Ethan walking under wary gazes from fellow soldiers. Inside the command room, his superior stared at him through thick glasses. No anger, no warmth. Just flipping through a file, then saying, "Do you understand what you've done, Ward?" Ethan didn't justify himself. He just nodded and said, "I did the right thing." But inside, he knew a disciplinary investigation might be coming. 2 days later, a black vintage car pulled up outside the barracks. An elderly man stepped out, his posture upright, eyes unwavering. It was Walter Briggs. In his hand, a sealed lettered wax stamped with the royal insignia. He didn't ask for directions. He walked straight into the main hall, each step grounded in familiarity with power. To the guard's astonishment, he said, "I need to speak to Ethan Ward. This cannot wait." Minutes later, Ethan arrived. Two men young, one old, stood face to face in the heart of the military. Walter handed over the letter and said, "No dramatics needed. You protected me. Now it's my turn to protect you." That letter could change everything. Ethan stood, the red sealed envelope in hand. No one spoke. No one dared interrupt. The commanding officer quietly opened it, then looked up, his eyes softening. "Ethan Ward, through your actions, you upheld the spirit of honor, dignity, and history values at the very core of what the crown represents." The suspension was lifted immediately. Ethan wasn't just cleared. He was chosen as an honored guest in next year's national parade. The news spread quickly. Headlines read, "The guard who broke the rules to defend what's right." But what Ethan couldn't stop thinking about wasn't the letter. It was the question, why did that old man have that kind of power? People began to wonder, how could a 90-year-old veteran send a letter directly to the royal family? Why did a seemingly ordinary man make the entire system pause? The answer lies in history, when war still blanketed Europe. In 1944, during a covert operation in northern France, then Lieutenant Walter Briggs, just 23, saved a member of the British royal family from Nazi capture. The act remained classified for national security, but the Queen personally granted him a rare privilege: the right to send an urgent personal message to the crown if national honor is at stake. He had never used it, until the day his medal was ripped off in front of hundreds. And he didn't use it to protect himself, but the soldier who stood for what's right. That night, Ethan returned to his room. He removed his hat, laid down his ceremonial sword, and sat alone in silence. On the wall, the photo of his grandfather, Walter Ward, the Normandy veteran, the man who taught him what it meant to hold firm under pressure. Ethan looked in the mirror, and for the first time, he didn't see a soldier who only obeys. "I used to think standing still preserved tradition, but now I understand. Tradition only matters if it protects people." He didn't break protocol for rebellion. He stepped out when it mattered, and sometimes, stepping out of line is the only way to preserve the most sacred thing: dignity. Within a week, Ethan and Walter's story reached beyond the UK. Major outlets like BBC, CNN, and Sky News covered it. A campaign called Stand Up With Honor launched, urging youth to respect veterans and the elderly. Schools across London invited Walter to speak on war, courage, and honor. Handwritten letters flooded the barracks from people of all backgrounds. One was from a 10-year-old boy. "Dear Ethan, after your video, I stood up for my friend when he got bullied." Ethan didn't reply to them all, but he kept every one in a wooden box, because he knew one act of standing up could inspire an entire generation. A guard broke tradition. An old man knelt in the heart of the Capitol, and one moment made a nation reconsider how it treats those who fought for it. Walter didn't ask to be honored, but he deserved respect. Ethan didn't try to be a hero. He just did what was right when everyone else only filmed. In an era where forgetting is easier than gratitude, we need more steps like Ethan's, and must remember more people like Walter. If you believe veterans shouldn't be silenced, if you believe dignity has no age, comment, "I stand with them," and share this video as the thank you that was never said. This isn't just a story. This is justice for veterans.